Hey guys, it's your boy Patt. Welcome to the next episode of the Hollow Down Cigar Lounge podcast. We are back on StreamYard doing another remote session today with our boy Chad. What's up, Chad?
Hi everybody, thanks for having me.
So it's been a little interesting setting up. We're not gonna torture them with those details, some internet issues and such. But today we are back in the world of Dissident Cigars. We're going to be smoking the Rave that we will show up here in just a moment. And wanted to wear my Dissident hat, but it's doing some weird buckling thing. I didn't want to displease on the show. So sporting cigar page hat, cigar page flag, because they are a retailer of Dissident cigars. There are several, but they are one. So if you end up liking what we smoke, go in there and find it. So anyway, how's things up there in the northern part of the country, my man?
Things are good and quiet, unlike down south right now, but it's cool here, which I was telling you I love because this is my favorite time of the year. I can go outside in a pair of shorts and a sweatshirt. A sweatshirt or shorts and a sweatshirt or jeans and a sweatshirt. It's my favorite.
I thought we were there the other day, and it's back up in the upper 80s, so we didn't quite get our cold snap yet.
Yeah, we have a couple of warm days. Yeah, we got a couple of warm days coming up, like 75 Friday, but mostly it's going to stay in the 60s from here on out.
Nice.
Till November, probably. Me too.
I'm ready for cooler weather. I'm done with the heat for a while.
I don't know how you guys do that. It's too much for me. I'm a baby.
We complain about it all year. That's how.
I was watching you guys on the podcast the other day, and it was brutal. You guys' brains were melting.
Oh man, we spent most of the summer in triple digits, so
yeah,
it sucks. It just is what it is. But let's as I reminded Justin when I brought him on last show, as you like to tell me, it's a cigar show, so gotta smoke a damn cigar.
That's right.
So this one is the Dissident Rave. I'll let as we've done before, I'll let Chad pull this up and show it to you for a moment. So normally we read things off of Cigars International. However, they're not a retailer for this cigar, so I'm going to read it off of Small Batch Cigar, kind of give you a couple little details about it. So, Rave is part of another small batch setup that Dissident does. Ecuadorian Connecticut wrapper, Ecuadorian binder, a mix of fillers that are Pennsylvania broadleaf, Dominican, and Nicaraguan. Should be a flat medium on the intensity scale. And notes that they anticipate include some pepper, cedar, little nuts, leather, espresso, and then they go as far to bring up Cheerios and simple syrup. So I'm expecting to feel some sweetie something. So we'll see how that goes. But first things, let's cut these babies. You know, I got in trouble for saying that we're cutting puppies. I don't know if cutting babies is a better replacement.
I don't think it is.
You know, as soon as I say that, it sounds a little weird.
Yeah, I did a little reading on this because I had never smoked one either, and they had some of the notes that you mentioned, but there was also like graham cracker and citrus, and this was off of either Blind Man's Puff or one of those reviews. So just like an individual reviewing 3 cigars. I think it was Blind Man's Puff.
And I wonder if you can see this. This is kind of my fault, but this wrapper is definitely a thin wrapper, and I almost over torched it. And if I can show you this, caught it real quick, but See the end of that roll there,
Ah, yeah.
right there. I caught it quick, but I almost made a mistake. So FYI, it's a quick light.
I get sweet
And
right off the bat.
I do love Dissident cigars, if anybody doesn't know that. But this one might be the only one I haven't smoked, except for a brand new one they just came out with. It. I'll have to go even look up the name because I can't remember. But so this will be a new experience for me as well.
Is it the barber pole one that she just came out with that you're thinking of? They have a new barber pole out. It's not the Molotov, right? You've had the Molotov?
Yeah, I've had the Molotov. That's a good little bomb. It was a special release that's
got a little pigtail on top of it.
Yep, got a pigtail.
Yeah. That's a little bit darker cigar by the look of it. It was like some kind of broadleaf, it seemed like.
Yeah, I forget what's in it. It might be... I forget if that one was a Nicaraguan Puro or not. So they did announce the re-release of the Molotov. So if you missed that, go get you some. This is going to bother me because now I can't remember the name of that other one. The Heretic.
The Heretic, yep.
It was a Midwest U.S. area exclusive, so it was only given to retailers in the Midwest. Which is why I haven't had it yet, because I'm not in the Midwest and I haven't quite tracked it down yet.
She was just in a shop in Ohio, and I had earmarked the date to maybe possibly go, and that was seems like September or something, so I think she must have just done a Midwest type, kind of did her rounds in the Midwest. Yeah, I noticed
she did some dates in that area.
Yeah, there was a couple in Ohio. I'm sure she got up to Michigan somewhere, but I didn't get a chance to see her. But I'd love to run into her somewhere. She's pretty cool.
Same. She was in Dallas area not too long ago and tried to make it work, and I was just caught up at work and just couldn't get over there. That would have been cool to catch up with her too.
Right off the hit, I get a lot of sweet.
We are referencing Sin Coburn, obviously.
Yeah. You're getting sweet right away off this? Like, it's super...
Absolutely.
Yeah. Like a little bit of white pepper and a little bit of... I don't know, like... the simple syrup. Like, I guess I never thought about that as a flavor, but that's what we're tasting, I think.
That's exactly what it is. I get why it's that specific now. It is simple, sweet. It's not...
Yeah, it's almost like candy coating or like sugar coating on a glazed donut or something like that. It's real light and real sweet. Super. I like it.
Some sweetness you get a little too much of a sugary punch. This one, it's there, but it's not at the same time.
It's kind of like a Brulee Blues. They're the same way. They have a little bit of a sweetened cap, but they're a real mild Connecticut when they have a sweet draw all the way through them, and it's just not overpowering. Yeah. It's just creamy, which I like those. This is kind of resembling that.
Construction-wise, as soon as the heat gets it makes it feel spongy and soft up here, but the draw is not too airy. So
I like an airy draw, though. I prefer one almost.
I like it as long as it's not too airy. I'm not really sure how to describe where my limit is there, but
no, you want the right volume of smoke, right? You never want to have to pull so hard that you're working, the cigar over, but you want to get the ample amount of smoke out. So there's a fine line, right. You're right. That's ADVs like that. They have really open draws. Some people think they're too open, but you can create a ton of smoke with them, so that's how I think you can taste the blends the best.
Right. ADV, I think, is a good limit because they're not one that I feel is too airy. Still get flavor, still got enough resistance that the burn works well. So that one's not one that I have an issue with at all.
Yeah, I'd rather have an open draw than a tight draw because those are just frustrating.
Yeah, you sit there with the poker every 5 seconds.
Yeah, I had one the other day. I probably shouldn't drop the brand name. It's a new Maduro that just recently came out. I don't want to bash them
Okay.
because it's a pretty good brand most of the time, and I do enjoy a lot of their stuff. But I got this brand new box, and the first one I pulled out was completely plugged. So I took my draw tool to it, and I literally had to almost core it out like an 1/8 inch hole all the way through before it would even smoke. Like literally both ends, I'm just going back and forth. And the first one, I smoked it about halfway, and it was so much work, I just threw it in the ashtray and left it. And then the second one was a little better. The third one was perfect. There was nothing wrong with it. And then I smoked one again last night, had the same problem. I had to, so intermittently, it's riding right on the side of tight draw. And I'd rather have a cigar be more loose than tight. For that reason.
Right. Do you think it was
out.
overly packed, or was it maybe just too humidified? Or
it felt like it was a little of both at first. So when I first got the box, I'm like, yeah, sometimes when brands are pushing sticks out, they're doing it a little fast and they're not quite to the right, humidity. So I let it sit for a while, and it's had about a month and a half since I got the box, and I've smoked my 5th one, and it seems like the humidity's come down a little bit, but the draw is just still tight. I think it's more of an overbunching issue, trying to pack too much tobacco.
It very well be then. I noticed with something like this, I am getting a little draft similar to what happened with Justin. So I'm not going to hit this light misburning because I do have a draft coming this direction just enough.
I've got a small draft where I'm at, but I mean, pretty much this thing's burning nice. I can't knock that quarter inch.
Strong enough that the flag was wrapping, but
right. I saw what you guys were up against the other day with your burns. Your burns were all janky because you had. It was 1,000 degrees and 60-mile-an-hour winds. It was
that turned out to be a good show. I'm glad we chose to smoke a thicker, bolder, denser cigar because it would have been terrible if we were smoking something more spongy or airy. Because when we were setting up, there was no wind. It was 95, 97 degrees, but shortly after the wind kicked up, so it would have been hell if we didn't have as dense of a cigar as we did.
Yeah, this is a great morning cigar. I really like this.
I do too. There's just got the first hit of some nuttiness.
Did you? I really enjoy having something soft in the mornings.
I'm sorry, I cut you off. Go ahead.
I just say I really enjoy, recently having a nice, easy stick in the morning like this, kind of to start off with coffee.
I don't know if I can see this or not because the way I'm burning, but I was referencing that because even though it feels more spongy, the construction still feels well done. And I don't know if this will show up as well, but in the cut, because it's not going to want to focus on the. But you can actually see, because I did a V cut, you can actually see the well wrapped, but it's not just curled up, tightened up like a ball. So
you can probably see it on mine better. Let's see. Where are we at? I never can work the camera right on this.
Well, the problem is when you get cameras set up to focus so well on your face, it doesn't always want to focus up close.
Yeah, there's a lot to be said. I don't understand all that, but you'll talk to people, and how you bunch the tobacco leaves plays a huge part in how well it draws, I guess.
It does. And I've done some light references on this. It's not as easy to always tell, but you've got some are just your rolls. You've got what they call I think it's the book fold. You kind of learn to roll in your hand, so you kind of get these air channels through there while it's still tight. And that's kind of what this looks like. Well as a roller.
That's what I'm seeing in here. It's kind of layered
Yep.
back, and it almost looks like taffy when they go back and forth instead of just
Yeah, that's a
squishing it
good
into a
visual.
ball. It's like this back and forth, and you just layer it and stack it up. In the middle, it
Yep.
kind of looks like that.
It's still got a bunch of tobacco, so it's not underpacked, but you still get good airflow. And
What
it's
is
just
the price on this stick?
it is. Let me
It's
make sure I give you
curious
the right
because
number.
it's really good, and I'm probably going to end up with some.
Well, since we're referencing it, let's just go. Since we're talking about cigar page, let's just go check there. So, live price review. All right, so you got Dissident Rave. Hey, what do you know? Currently in stock. These are Robusto. 5-pack for $42 or a box of 20 for $161. So roughly $8 a stick or so.
$8.25. Yeah, that's pretty good. I'd pay $8 for this all day.
Oh yeah,
it's really good actually. I really like it.
Uh-oh. Almost lost the backdrop completely.
Yeah, so I've only other Dissident cigar I've had is the Block or Bloke, however you say it, Block.
Yeah, Block.
That was a really good cigar, but completely different, 100% different cigar.
It is completely different. That might be my favorite Dissident. The Soapbox is an OG and is also fantastic. So I'm not sure. I'm right there between those two, which one I think is my favorite of the two.
No, I lie because I think you did send me a Soapbox and I did smoke that. Would you have sent me one?
Ooh, you know what?
Because the box
I know that first
from the
contest you got, the first Dissidents was a Block, but did I throw a Soapbox in a trade with you?
I think so. I'm almost positive. I'll have to go back and look. I might have a picture of it somewhere.
Let's see. Oh yeah, on our last trade.
So I'm not sure if I smoked it or not, and I'm thinking I might have. So I'll have to go back and look in the Patt tub because I got a tub with just your stuff in it.
Right. Same.
I keep it all separate.
I don't remember if you told me, because usually you'll tell me when you smoke stuff in our trades like I do, if it's good or bad. And if you did, I don't remember it either. So
right, it might still be in there actually. But the only one I remember smoking is the Block. Let's just say that. I may have another one I haven't tried yet.
Block's just a good cigar, but I mean, that's one thing I like about Dissident. They're not a massive, Rocky Patel brand with 120 different blends. They are very particular. And since Sin and Josh, took over, they kept that particular boutiqueness. Oveja Negra makes them for them now, but they're very specific in the blend. So each cigar has its own niche, its own kind of vibe. So
they live in Nicaragua full time, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, she comes over here to do runs and appearances and stuff, but in Nicaragua, so they're definitely hands-on.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So how many different blends do they have? Because you've smoked all of them, haven't you? I mean, you kind of touched on
now
that,
I have.
But, yeah, well, okay, this is the last one. Oh, besides the LE.
Yeah, besides the new one. So, make sure I'm not forgetting. So you've got the Smoke Box, the Block, the Triad, which is the Rant, Rave, Tirade. Got the Revolt.
Molotov.
6, 7 is Home. which was an annual release. So there's technically a 2021, 20. There's a few years of it. 7, and then the Heretic. So 8, unless I'm forgetting something.
Did you say Molotov?
Oh, 9, Molotov. I did.
Yeah. That's the one that interests me the most because it seems like it's a small. I thought it was a broadleaf, and I tend to like broadleaf. So
yeah, that's a good one too. So we might be able to sneak that one on because I've still got 1 or 2 left. I think might be able to get our hands on some, especially with them re-releasing it. We might be able to get our hands on some of it and do that one.
So what was the favorite thing that you drank at the? Because you were pretty giddy about the tequilas and what was it? Japanese whiskeys or something?
It's a Japanese whiskey, and I'm not gonna lie, kind of 2 years in a row. The Cigar Fest. Now, it was a good event. We ended up a little bit disappointed that did not make it on referencing on the episode because some of the vendors were not able to make it. So there was a few cigar blenders that we missed out on. But a bunch of tequilas, and I'm kind of iffy on tequila. But the Japanese whiskey that I mentioned, Kimiki or Kimiki, you don't really think of Japan when you hear whiskey. They were there last year. They came back this year, and still my favorite showing of the entire event as far as the alcohol related.
Right. So was there more alcohol vendors or were there more cigar vendors?
This year it flipped because we call it Cigar Fest, but it's technically the Texas Cigar, or it's called Cigar Fest. We all call it Cigar Fest, but it's a wine, cigar, and spirits festival.
Right.
But this year there was a lot more alcohol-related vendors than there were cigars.
Yeah, and then you said the NFG is the one that's coming up next, right? That you guys
the NFG is
together.
March 8th. That's in Fort Worth. That one is straight up cigars, 100%. You get a bunch of cigars, and then there's a big tent with all the retailers that are also selling cigars that are event only, so stuff that you can only buy at the event.
Yeah, you got the hauls you guys brought last year were ridiculous. Like I saw pictures of yours and Justin's. I
still have a good chunk of cigars from the event last year that I haven't touched yet. Some of them because we got 5 packs there, and right? Such, so I'm kind of spacing them out. But
yeah, Aganorsa was there. Isn't that where he got all the Calabras and all the Fallen Angels and all that? Did you get all that stuff too?
Yep, I didn't get all of them. Got several of them.
Yeah.
Nope. Yeah, so I've still, the ones that I haven't hit yet, I've still got some, I lied, I did get 2 the Aganorsa. I've got 2 of them left. Some Crown Heads, Black Star Line Espinosa, Ezrazan. I met the owner for Fuerte Libre. We talked about actually bringing him on a show. So now that we're doing remote stuff, maybe we can pull that off one day.
I don't know anything about that brand. Is it a newer brand or smaller brand?
It's been around for a little while, but it's more of a boutique brand that he's trying to boast. The original, and I don't know all the details behind this, the original full name was, if I pronounce this right, Fuerte Libre. Commonly seen as Fuerte Libre. We'll have to dive into that and try to bring us more info on him. But speaking of Black Line, not referencing NFG, I got lucky and got a cigar that may have to send you for review. Was the Cigar Dojo Yasuke, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. It was a 1-day drop. There was only 300 bundles of 10 sold on Smoke Inn. And me and Ellen were on the way to Dallas, and we were on our phones blasting it up, and luckily we each got a pack, so got lucky.
That was on Smoke In? It was like a Cigar
Yeah, they were on
Dojo
Smoke In.
special?
It dropped at like noon one day, and they sold out very quickly. So we got lucky.
Well, you know, I'd love to try one.
Oh yeah.
I will say this about this cigar: it puts out a lot of smoke.
It does, man.
I'm pleased with that for a smaller, you know, because this is a smaller ring gauge for you. This is my standard ring gauge, somewhere around 50, 52 is what I go to, and this puts out some smoke. I love it.
It is. It's very smoky, and I'm sure anybody watching has just in my proximity to my camera, you're probably getting to see a good representation of that smoke. I mean,
yeah, it's a good one. I'm very impressed, for sure.
I am too. Man,
so as you guys were wrapping up your episode
without ripping up the cigar.
Yeah. As you were wrapping up your episode the other day, you literally were talking about how your brain was melting, and I could see the pain in your guys' faces. And I felt so bad. I was like, oh my gosh. And it was almost 100 there, right? 97
yeah,
or something.
It was either at the beginning or the end of it. I forget, but somewhere in there, I looked down and it was 97 degrees.
When I was watching your podcast, it was 68, and I was thinking,
shut up.
a little bit different temperature. That is the one thing that's nice about living up here.
And it made it worse because we got there early because I wanted to put the building in the background. So I also had to get just far enough away for the camera to get us and the building, which meant middle of the parking lot, no shade, no trees. So that made it worse. Just backed up the truck and set everything up on the tailgate to film that way.
If you do that again next year, you should get one of those little pop-up, those little tent dudes that could throw up anywhere for like tailgating, and then at least would give you just a touch of shade, and you could still see through. And if you set it up right, you'd be able to see through it and see the building. And
I've got one. We talked about it, but I didn't anticipate it being that brutal. We were okay with a little bit of sun. It just didn't think it was still going to be that terrible.
Well, that was early in the morning, right? Like when I say early, like it was like 10 a.m. or something, right?
So the event started at 6. We got there to record around like 3:30, I think. So we started recording around 4-ish.
Oh, so you were there
because we wanted to do it like the day, right before the event.
Is it down there? Is it the hottest part, 2 to 3 o'clock?
Usually, yeah.
Yeah, around here it's like everyone says noon, but it's like 2, 3 o'clock. It's brutal hot. As hot as it's going to be, at least.
Because right after noon, if you're just thinking, simple science, the sun's straight up and it's been cooking. Well, then it's already pre-cooking. The next couple hours, it's just keeping it warm.
Right.
Doesn't die.
Yep. For sure.
Yeah, this little sucker is consistently smoky.
I'm
gonna pull this up real quick because I mentioned that I didn't want to hit the burn because of the wind. The wind has stopped for a little bit, and you can see it's back to a dead even burn. So good notes on the cigar on the burn. What I was experiencing earlier was not Dissident's fault.
Yeah, mine has gone a little wonky, but it's not terrible, and it seems to keep correcting itself. So
I would say that's just a good acceptable wave. I think that's fine.
Anytime you have a box press, I always find that the burns aren't as consistent as a round cigar as well. Like it's easier for a burn to stay true. The air's kind of
doing a little tunneling thing in a way.
When the corners are packed tighter, the actual tobacco is packed differently inside of a box press than it is a round cigar. So
and let me pull this back. You might be able to see this since you're referencing the corners. So as I flip this around on the other side, right here, you see that dark line, and that's I don't know if that's gonna come on, focus on it.
I can see it.
Anyway, You see where the corner is at right there?
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of doing a dark burn line, and that's just because it's taking a little bit more effort to burn in that corner.
Yeah, typically usually what happens is they burn a little faster on the flat ends and then a little slower on the corners, and that's kind of what you're saying.
Yep. But hey, I'm down for it. It's considering some of the cigars we review, I have smoked before. This is not one of them. I'm down. I haven't really gotten much of the cedar note, and I usually do pick up cedar. Have you picked that up at all?
I'm getting graham cracker. Like right now, I still have my band on. I'm getting graham cracker. That sweetness has kind of resided a little bit. It's not as sweet,
Yeah, same.
but it's still very pleasant. But I would say graham cracker and maybe a little bit of citrus even, and some white pepper. That's what I'm getting.
Yeah, definitely getting the pepper. Getting. I kind of see why they said Cheerios, because I'm kind of with you. I'm not picking up specifically as graham cracker, but I'm kind of getting that like cerealness,
like a bready, cereal-y.
Yeah,
a hearty feel, I guess. You could call it bread too, I think.
Yeah, I could lean more towards bread, I think. But either way, it works very well. I agree with the medium. I didn't get more intensity at all until after I was halfway through, and I think that's just more of a heat thing than it is a flavor intensity.
Yeah, I'm picking up a little bit of strength, I think, but that's kind of normal to your point. The farther back you get, but as soon as I said I don't taste any more, as soon as I said I don't taste any more sweet, I took a big draw to get as much smoke as I could, and the whole back of my tongue just tasted sweet again, and I was like, oh shit. So it's back apparently. So it comes and goes.
I got it the first half 100%, and then it just kind of tailed off on me.
It definitely faded for quite a while.
Indeed. No, if y'all are watching this and you like more medium cigars, this would be one to try for sure.
Yep, this is a great breakfast, mild to medium. Like normally in the mornings I'll smoke like a Davidoff Grand Cru or a ADV Queen's Pearl, something super light, and this kind of falls right into that category.
It does. Speaking of the Queen's Pearl, I've got the two that you sent me. We may, unfortunately, have to do a couple ADV reviews.
Here we go.
I know you'd be upset about that.
Well, you've also got... what else did I send you besides Queen's Pearl? Just a couple of Queen's Pearl?
Got a couple of Queen's Pearl, got a couple of the King's Tooth.
King's Gold, okay. And then you also have the Barbaroa and the Barbaroa.
I've got the Barbaroa and the Blue-Eyed Jack.
Blue-Eyed Jack, yeah. So you've got 4 of the blends.
And...
Navigator? Did I send you a Navigator?
The Navigator is the one that we did, right?
Oh, did we do? Yeah, we did do one. We did
one.
That was the Navigator. Yep.
Then I think it's the Conqueror that I have also on standby.
That's a black band, black and white.
I'm trying to remember for sure. Let's see.
The Explorer has a red band. The Conqueror has a black band. The Navigator has a blue band.
Queen's Pearls.
That's white. Metal band.
I think that is right. Yeah, should be the Conqueror then.
That's going to be
either way. We've got a few to do.
That's a medium plus, but that'll be like a really tobacco forward cigar. There's not a lot of tasting notes outside of your normal wood and cedar and.
There's nothing wrong with that.
It reminds me a lot of Fuente, like a Fuente stick.
Speaking of Fuente, I'm not sorry for calling you out so much last time. Every time
That's
we
okay.
said something, it'd be like, "Oh yeah, Chad."
Well, my ears were burning, but that's okay. You said nice stuff, so that's fine. You're
Well,
not
you know, we
talking
got to
bad
leave all
about
the
me.
rest of it for off camera. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, I was trying. So, like, I was thinking of cigars that I enjoy in the morning, and we were just talking about that. And one of the other ones is like an LFD Andalusian Bull, but I don't get to smoke those very often. So
Yeah.
that's another great morning cigar. Do you smoke lighter in the morning, or do you just like start right out of the gate heavy?
It completely depends on the mood, since my mornings are technically almost bedtime for me.
Right.
So it kind of depends on the vibe. If I'm going to smoke just one cigar before I crash, I usually just go ahead and grab a bold one. If I'm
Yep,
smoking
I
a
can see
couple
that.
Coronas or Robustos and I'm going two back to back, then I'll usually smoke a lighter and then follow it up. What I would consider in reference to a good morning question is, like, days like tomorrow I'm off, I'm not going to do my normal, night shift routine. So in the afternoon, when I am back up, then I'll probably smoke a lighter one. I'll probably smoke a few throughout the night, and I'll usually kind of progress that way. It kind of depends.
So, like on your days off, that's more of what I would say with your normal day. You'd start out with something a little lighter.
Start out something lighter and kind of progress through the day, and make sure my palate doesn't get overwhelmed too early.
Yeah, normally if you smoke something good, it's not bad. But like if you get into something super heavy and it's a medium to okay cigar, it'll just destroy your mouth. For 2 or 3 hours, you're not right.
Like, 5 Vegas is AAA. Does not need to be the first cigar if you plan on smoking anything other, or My Father's Judge, something like that. Better be on the end of your list for the day.
That's one of My Fathers I've never had. And I've smoked a bunch of them, and I really like all of them. But for whatever reason,
I would like you to smoke one at some point.
Never had it.
Just to tell me how you like the retro, because that's one I will no longer retro. That pepper hits.
I heard it's really strong, right?
Which
they're known for. Like the Le Bijou is pretty strong too. That Le Bijou is really strong. But you can retro it, but it's a little burny. The one I like the most, I think, out of that whole line is I don't even know how to say it, the La Opulencia. I think it's like the orange band.
It's Opulencia.
Opulencia? Is that the green banded one?
Yeah,
that's
really
the green
like
one. That's my favorite one that I've tried from their standard line.
I think I would agree to that.
And then there's a blue banded one, the Gran Oferta or La Oferta. That one is phenomenal too. And it's those two are more like a blend, like a Padron, 1964 blend. I think they're a lot smoother.
That's probably why I like it, because I do like the 64 a lot.
Yeah, what's the other one? The 26 that's good too, the other Padron.
26 is right there. Those two are just phenomenal.
Hey,
and
you've sent me 2 or 3
of those. Natural and
Maduro.
I usually lean towards Maduro, but they're both great cigars in general.
That was one thing when I smoked my first 1964 Natural. I was very surprised with how strong it actually was. Like, it's a natural, but it's got some kick to it, and it has a ton of nicotine. Like, I smoked it, and I was like, whoa, I know I smoked a cigar. I can feel it. And that's not normal, because I'll smoke 3 or 4 a day, and if you smoke that many, you kind of get a little nicotine resistant, right? So
yeah, you need a little bit of buffer after.
Right, I smoked that, and I could feel it. Like, usually in my head, will start sweating a little bit, something like that. My clues up here.
That's definitely one. If you're a new cigar smoker and haven't learned where your preferred palate resistance is, probably shouldn't be the first one you smoke.
Yeah, like this right here is a great first cigar for somebody. Like I would
Oh,
never shy
absolutely.
away from giving something like this to somebody for their first cigar.
Yeah, it's got good flavor, but the intensity is not overbearing. It's not going to kick in your face. It's not going to give you
It's
that sugar drop cigar sickness. It's great for, a new smoker for sure.
It might be a little stronger than what I think because I'm a little nicotine resistant, like I said, but it does taste
I
like
mean, it's not
it's
like
got
an
some
acid
nicotine.
blondie where it's super light, but it's not going to punch you in your face and be too dark either.
Yeah. I'm super impressed with this thing.
Well, I kind of let us get off, and this wasn't part of it, but I wore the Skillet shirt today.
Oh, yeah.
When we met Justin for the last show at the event the following day, we went to a concert I've been fiending to go to. That was Skillet and Seether. I've seen both several times, but true Skillet fanboy, I have literally been following them since I don't even know if I was 10 yet. I just know that the only reason my dad let me listen to them was because they were a Christian rock band, and I was a rocker at a very early age. And I like to call Skillet the Bee Gees of modern rock, because where the Bee Gees stayed so long is because even though they had their style, they kind of adapted it throughout the generations just enough to stay relevant.
Yeah.
Skillet's done the same thing. Their first band or their first album was just straight up garage grunge rock, and then they went through the electronica rock, and then they went to the straight up hard rock, and now they're just more modern, more rock and roll. It's just, and every album is great, and they're all different, but they stay relevant, and still acts on stage like he's 20, jumping all over the place. It's fantastic.
So how old is the actual band? Like, are the band members my age or?
You know what? I can tell you real quick, because
Late 40s or 50s or something?
he is 49, John Cooper.
Yeah.
So it's got two guitars, a guy and a girl. The girl is his wife of 20-something years by now. They've been playing together. She wasn't there originally. They met, joined the band, and they've been there since. The lead guitarist has been there forever.
So were they married before they started the band, or did they
No.
join the band and then
after.
get married? So they got into a band together and then got married later?
So I'm not 100% sure. I forget if they were married, then she joined the band, or she joined the band, got married. But because I know the first album, she wasn't there. It was just three guys. I'd have to go back and look. I'm a little rusty on the history to remember exactly which order that happened with John and Corey. But either way, I love Skillet. They're great, and I've
always
getting the candy
liked
store.
them.
And Seether was good too, and I forgot how effortlessly he sings, because the venue had a close up of him, and when most people hit higher, stronger notes and they got to pull back and rear back, he just just raw power from vocal cords, man.
Yeah, I bet it was a good show.
And I learned a new one, which the opener. Well, I had two openers. Tim Montana, he is more of a, I'm going to say more of a ZZ Top rocker with a little bit more edge, but kind of in that genre. Royal Lynn was another female-led rock group that I didn't realize I knew, but I recognized a couple of her songs. She was a dang good opener. If you don't know Royal Lynn, go look her up too. Royal with
never heard.
Good stuff.
Never heard of her.
But yeah, fantastic show. So it was a good weekend. Cigars and then Skillet. So hey.
Heck yeah. Yeah, you can't
And
beat
this
that.
shirt is for their new album that's coming out of Revolution. Comes out just in a matter of days. I think it might be November 1st.
So did you guys stay the night and then the Skillet show was the next day? Is that what you
Yeah,
did?
so we went over to Dallas. We actually, there's a training scuba lake there, so I was testing out some equipment. So we went Friday, stayed in Terrell, dove a little bit, dove again the next morning, had the cigar event Saturday, stayed again. The concert was Sunday, stayed the night, and then we busted it back Monday because we both had to be at work that afternoon. Made a whole weekend out of it is what we did.
You didn't waste any minutes
Absolutely not.
pulling into
As
the
in, we
parking
did
lot
not
as you were
have
getting
enough
back in
time
town
to
Monday?
come home and sleep and relax. We came home, got the dogs, and went to work.
Well, you guys are both
You
used to
know,
that craziness, though, because you both work nights, right? So
right.
you're used to that.
Well, I have an inadvertent party foul. This is one I was about to put on the number and get every bit of it, but apparently I left my number in the truck because, I was smoking in there the other day.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to burn my fingers because I don't want to put it down just yet.
Man, you must be going to town. I'm still...
The wind at the first half of it did burn quicker than the second half.
The wind was smoking some of it for you?
It was. The second half of the cigar has been a very nice even, but the first half where it was starting to burn sideways, that was just pure wind rush.
Yeah, I didn't have too much
cigar,
trouble there. I'm super impressed with this cigar. Like, I know I keep saying it, but typically when I keep saying it, that means I really, really like it.
Yeah, I've had cigars that are good, and I give a couple comments, and then we end up talking the whole show because it's good, but it's just not overwhelming your excitement.
Right.
This one is. I mean, we keep coming back to how good a cigar it is. So
it's changed a little bit too for me now. Like I said, it's getting a little bit stronger, and now I'm getting a little bit more of that sweet back. So now it's just like sweet bread for me. It's about what I have, sweet bread.
I've got the bread. I haven't quite gotten the sweet back in the last third, but the other notes are hitting for me.
It's not the same as it was before. Now it's on my tongue after I blow the smoke out. The sweet is laying on top of my tongue, and I don't know if that makes any sense, but no, it's not the same. It's not the same sweet that you got off the draw before. When it went in, you could taste it. Now it's an aftertaste of sweet, a little bit. I don't know. That's the best way I can describe it.
And that's going to change it because you're hitting different palate points.
Yep, for sure. Yeah, for an $8 cigar or whatever this is a tremendous cigar.
Yeah, I mean it's solid. I mean, I'm burning my finger getting into it. I'm not going to stop until I can't hold it.
Just a ton of smoke.
Always a good sign.
Yeah.
But
look at the
we are at the time,
stacking up too.
Yeah,
it's dimes.
Great construction show right there.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Chad, we've come to the point where we have to sign off for everybody. Normally I would recap the notes of the cigar, but I think we've done that the entire episode this time. Mm-hmm. Great cigars. So as far as a review point, fantastic. Dissident Rave. Jump over to Cigar Page or anywhere else you can find them and definitely grab some, try it out. And I know Cigar Page has several of blends, so just a good point for you to get several of them. Kind of stayed on point with that pretty much the whole episode. We didn't kind of...
No.
I actually planned on talking about this a little bit more, but man, we couldn't stop talking about the cigar.
The one thing you need to mention, though, that before we hop off is the drawing. Give that a little plug.
Yeah, because this schedules go white. This is the last episode, most likely, before that will end. So the next time should be us holding the drawing. So we do have a contest going right now. In fact, I will drop this back and I'll put these reminder links down there. So If you are a subscriber to this page, but not a subscriber or a member on our Facebook page, it's the Hollow Down Cigar Lounge on Facebook, and links are in the show note, and should have just passed by you below. Join the group. If you're already in the group, invite a friend, get them to join the page, or invite a friend, get them to subscribe to this channel. Each one of those will give you an entry. If for some reason you are seeing this and you're in the group and you haven't subscribed to the channel, subscribe it. Also, send me a message, or if you're on the Facebook group, up and featured, the original post it up there, just comment on it. Either way is fine. Get an entry, and on October 20th, we'll end it. In our next episode, we'll do a drawing, and there's a bundle of 10 Connecticut cigars. This puppy's going to be over here, somewhere here. I'm going to send them to you. It's just a complete random drawing, and at the time of this recording, Justin is killing it. So if y'all want to beat him, go invite some people and build our
He was
family.
bragging to me yesterday. He was like, I got like 9 entries.
Dude, like every
he
3 or
told
4
me
hours,
also,
he's like, hey, this person joined, this person joined. I go look, and I'm like, sure enough, invited by Justin.
yeah, and he told me yesterday that you can also get an entry by subscribing on Spotify, right? If you're a Spotify member, which I used a free one, so I'm not gonna.
Yeah, so I didn't put it on the original. I didn't specify it on the original post, but I did say subscribe to the podcast. So primarily YouTube, but if you join it on Spotify, you can. We focus on the YouTube, but I do also upload every episode to Spotify, so you can watch it there or listen to it there. So
I didn't realize you put it on there. Yeah.
Yep.
That's good.
I think it's Martin maybe was the first one that found it, because I didn't really advertise it, and I think it was Martin. If it's somebody else, I apologize, but I think it was him that realized I put it on there. But doesn't get a lot of plays because we push the YouTube more, but it is on there. So if you're driving and you just need to listen to it and can't watch it, it's there too.
Yeah.
So the next time we come
For
on,
sure.
hopefully we're doing that giveaway drawing for somebody.
Yeah, somebody's gonna win some nice cigars.
Oh yeah. But that's the show for today. Good cigar, good talk as always, man.
Yeah.
But next time we'll be giving something away.
That's always fun.
Well, unfortunately, I got to go be an adult for a little while. So,
Dang
but
it.
as always, good talking to you, brother. I'm glad you're back on here. I like that we can do this pretty regularly now.
Yeah, I love it.
Well, guys, hopefully I've enjoyed the show. Find another good cigar to go try if you haven't. And as always, you know the drill. Stay safe and hollow down.